It was something that I thought, you know, let me explore this. Let me see if there's something there to be said that hasn't been said. You know, I wasn't caught up in the nostalgia of it. I didn't necessarily want to go back and recreate past glories. You know, what new can be said? We convened a writer's room to map out 3 films, because it was actually my recommendation that we don't think small on this, that we think big, and we look at a story arc that's a greater saga across 3 movies.
All my favorite movies are action movies, but so many of them I don't feel are interesting anymore. They don't, because when the shit happens, when the bombs start going off, the characters haven't had enough development. You don't care about them, and that's the one thing that Jim does best of all, I believe, is that, you know, he certainly doesn't skimp on the spectacle, but when shit starts hitting the fan, he's built this relationship between the audience and the characters that make you really care about it. Of course I feel intimidated, but I also feel honored. It's one of those things, like, if Jim didn't think I could do it, I wouldn't be there, and that gives me confidence about being there.
It's always a risk, but you know, I feel very confident. We're really kind of a year into this, and we're what, 7-8 months into the creative process, and we haven't killed each other yet. You know, there's been some fur flying, but it's always been for the right reason, which is to make it better. We're gonna make 3 really fucking great movies. The Rev 9 is just a bunch of writers sitting in a room talking about the things they want to see. And I said, well, what if you had an endoskeleton with the liquid metal over the outside? And what if he fell off a motorcycle at 90 miles an hour and hit a chain link fence and all the liquid flew off? And all of a sudden there's an you know, endoskeleton standing there and he's still coming after you. That'd be cool. I think people want to immerse in a reality that they can believe and that they can invest in on behalf of the characters that they're seeing up on the screen.
Yeah, you don't want to be sitting in the audience and go, oh, well, that would never happen, or that. It pulls you out of the movie. Jim wanted to do a big air battle C5 sequence, and I said, well, they just did that in Mummy. And he said, well, I didn't see the Mummy.
We're falling out of a what into a what?
What? What? Because the action sequences are so insane in this movie.
And then what? I mean, I was white, apparently, when I finished reading that script.
I think just signing up to do the 6th movie of anything, you want to justify it, and you want to make sure you're not part of something that's superfluous and that there's actually a story that feels indelible and important.
I read the script. It was really totally organic.
Terminator is the story of Sarah Connor. It always has been. And the other films, I think, I haven't seen them, but she wasn't there. And I think that was the big void.
I felt very much that I had worked a very complete character arc in the first 2 films. So I didn't feel that I had that much more to say or show.
I knew, not in my wildest dreams, nor do I think this beats Terminator 2, and you know, and I worked my little heart out on this, and I love the movie, but Terminator 2 has this sort of special place in everybody's heart, even if you were old like me when you saw it, or young. It's one of those timeless movies that everybody's watched 40 times, but you can't hope to supplant that. And I sort of hope that because I am that guy that loves movies, and I am that guy that really just wants to make a good film, that I'll be able to add a worthy successor to the franchise. I'm not just there to get a paycheck or anything like that. I really want to make a good Terminator movie. And I also think that, I mean, Jim does that. He doesn't have to do this. I mean, the guy is rich as, I mean, you know, he doesn't need to make movies anymore, right? So he's doing it because he loves the franchise. I love the movie, and that's why I love the old movies, and that's why I want to do this. So everybody's doing it for the right reasons, and I think that's important. It's not some money play or because somebody needs to buy a new house or something like that. Everybody's doing it for the love, and that's the right reason to do it.
If there's a moment from the first 2 films that's your favorite, what is it?
I gotta say, Miles Dyson's death is probably my favorite moment. I mean, he's in the movie a short time, but he comes off so strong as a character, and And just that scene is so powerful because you know he's taking full responsibility for what he did, even though he didn't know he was doing it. It's just a powerful scene. I mean, and there's a bunch. I mean,
you know what? Now that you mention it, I will give you the moment that always gets me, which is when Sarah is about to shoot Dyson and she can't do it, and she just kind of puts her hand out and goes shh, like that, and steps back and collapses. I just thought that was such an interesting choice on her part. I want to see more stuff like that in movies.
Unfortunately, Terminator Dark Fate is one of the most creatively bankrupt rehashes of what works with no personality.
I've already forgot. This shouldn't be a franchise. I've seen this argument online.
To me, it felt like the studios were trying to make a Marvel movie.
The new Force
Awakens. A lot of these big budget action
was effectively a repackaging of the previous film.
There was a sense of jeopardy. And I didn't. And I think that in the end, it is at very best the best Terminator movie since T2, but that ain't saying much.
Friend of yours?
He was my college roommate.
It must be destroyed before it destroys us.
Over the T-1 billion.
I'll be back.